Let's go back to where it all started. A front row seat at Ford headquarters, 2009. Sales charts are crashing. Once the king of the stoplight, the Mustang seemed to have lost its roar. Rivals weren't just winning, they were embarrassing Ford, and the Camaro's horsepower numbers cast a long, dark shadow. The mood? Grim. Some execs whispered about Mustang's fate, others prepared for an end nobody wanted to see. But then came a wild, last-ditch moonshot, Project Coyote. And just like that, the story wasn't over. It was about to explode. Here's the cold truth. The old Mustang was falling, fast. The Fox body memories faded, replaced by tales of a 4.6-liter V8 that couldn't outrun modern Chevys or even Hyundai's Genesis Coupe. If you've ever sat behind the wheel and felt speed slip through your fingers, you know the pain. Ford almost axed the Mustang, nearly morphing it into a soulless economy car based on the Focus platform. Picture the legend reduced to a front-wheel drive number, all guts and character ripped out. Enter the Rebels, a group of engineers refusing to let the Mustang die a quiet, unremarkable death. They pitched something radical, promising a V8 built from nothing. No hand-me-down parts, only ambition and late-night genius. 18 months, $500 million, and one last shot. The Hail Mary pass that became Project Coyote. Let's pull back the hood and stare at the reason Mustang didn't just survive but went global. The Ford team didn't just aim for Chevy or Dodge. They dissected BMW's M3 engines, obsessed over luxury V8 refinement, and became fanatical about sound, making exhaust notes as iconic as Mustang's silhouette itself. How extreme did they go? Ford created an acoustic laboratory just for tuning the roar. Technicians spent hours, not just listening, but feeling the rumble at every RPM, tweaking frequencies until the idle echoed a low B-flat, morphing into a high-octane crescendo. They even hired musicians, a wild crossover no one saw coming, to analyze and perfect harmonics. Every test became a relentless pursuit of perfection. That dedication turned the Coyote into a masterpiece, designed not just to run, but to sing. When the Coyote was greenlit, Ford did something almost unheard of. Zero reuse from the past. The modular V8? Gone. Every dimension, every material. Fresh. The clean sheet approach opened doors for F1 secrets to blend with street legend. Ferrari's own engineers worked with Ford, cooking up a valve train that screamed performance. The result? This wasn't just a beefy V8. The Coyote's block had deep skirt construction, like race engines, making it rigid and durable under heavy stress. It absorbed insane amounts of power, tested to 1,000 horsepower before any distortion showed up. Main caps were cross-bolted, a trick found in supercars, while oil squirters found in Ferraris cooled pistons by 50 degrees. The compression ratio could leap to 11:1, but here's the magic. It still ran on regular fuel. Rev heads, stop and let that sink in. The crankshaft was forged steel, gun-drilled to minimize weight. It could withstand 8,500 RPM for 300 straight hours during Ford's sadistic testing. The connecting rods used fracture split caps borrowed from Formula One, aligning perfectly even after punishing sessions. Ford's engineers didn't just run simulations. They burned through dyno after dyno, taking some engines to 1,000 pulls without a hint of wear. Every part was built to take punishment. If you wanted bragging rights in the garage, the numbers spoke for themselves. What's under the hood means nothing if it can't breathe. Enter the Coyote's high-flow heads. Each exhaust and intake port was sculpted using computational fluid dynamics, hunting for perfect airflow. Intake ports channeled 315 CFM, better than many racing heads, but with variable cam timing, things got crazy. 4 cams let the engine tweak breathing for any RPM. Smooth at idle, aggressive on the throttle, constantly reshuffling power distribution for maximum effect. The Beehive springs shaved mass, allowing higher redlines, while stainless steel sodium-filled valves chased heat out faster than you'd expect from anything but a supercar. Now here's something for the tech heads. Twin Independent Variable Camshaft Timing, TIVCT, gave the Coyote engine street smarts. Want to save fuel on a chill cruise? The cams swing to Atkinson cycle mode. Hit the throttle? The engine transforms instantly, camshafts cranking timing to unleash peak power. Ford spent 10,000 hours mapping every curve, every response, squeezing out an 8 to 12% bump in fuel economy and a torque curve as flat as the open highway, from 2,000 to 6,000 RPM. Did it work? Magazine dyno sheets told one tale, Mustang drivers told another. The GT just pulled, anytime, anywhere. When Ford rolled out the 2011 GT, the news sent competitors scrambling. With 412 horsepower from a naturally aspirated, high-revving 5.0 liter, the Coyote blew away not just expectations, but the myth that size was everything. Camaro engineers thought there'd been a misprint. The Mustang out-revved the Camaro's bigger engine by 1,000 RPM. Ford mastered friction reduction. Pistons got aerospace-grade alloys. Pins went diamond-like carbon, hollowed out for weight. Even the thin, low-tension piston rings shaved friction by 30%. The result? An engine that lived at sport bike RPMs, but lasted like a truck motor. Now let's talk real-world street smackdowns. In Motor Trend's testing, the Mustang hit 60 miles per hour in 4.3 seconds, beating the Camaro's 4.6. Quarter-mile times brought further glory. The Coyote's broad power band meant easy driving at the limit. No hunting for gears, no sweaty palm shifts to stay in the zone. Track days revealed something even seasoned veterans didn't expect: relentless heat management. While Camaros would lose their edge after a few hot laps, the Mustang kept its cool thanks to standard oil, transmission, and diff coolers. Ford was unashamed. They wanted bragging rights, and got them. But Coyote's greatest claim was its versatility. The Boss 302 was Ford's halo car, a tire-shredding, high-revving beast built to showcase everything the platform could do. Heads were CNC-ported, airflow rivaling NASCAR, forged pistons, upgraded rods, a hybrid intake, 444 horsepower, and an 8,250 RPM red line. Not enough? The suspension was tweaked through 47 different combos until it reached perfection, pulling 1.04 G on street tires. Laguna Seca Edition took it up a notch. Front splitters, rear seat delete, full cage. It embarrassed cars twice the price, lapping quicker than BMW's M cars, Audi's RS5, AMG's C63. Magazine reviewers called Boss 302 the best handling Mustang ever built, and they weren't exaggerating. The reputation for speed infected the whole brand. Suddenly, everyone wanted a Coyote Mustang, halo or not. Ford wasn't shy about tech tricks. Boss 302 came with two keys. The red track key unlocked a hidden ECU calibration, boosting horsepower, raising the red line, and flicking on launch control. Gauges changed, lap timers started ticking. Mustang turned from street car to legal track weapon with one twist. The Coyote's real superpower: modifiability. Ford guys finally had their answer to the Chevy LS, builds with simple tunes and exhaust free up 50 horses, heads and cams push past 550. Forced induction threads went nuts, 700 wheel horsepower on stock internals. Built motors, 1,500 was just the beginning. Every part had headroom, fuel injectors outpaced stock numbers, cooling kept temperatures down, and every test said, bring it on. But here's the shocker. Muscle met mileage like never before. The Coyote wasn't just thirsty for power, it sipped fuel. EPA said 26 highway, but testers clocked 28 to 30. Some hyper-milers squeezed 32 out of it. You wanted to cruise from LA to Vegas? Take the Mustang. Owners showed off trip computers reading 400-mile ranges. Suddenly, you could daily a 400 horsepower muscle car and spend less on gas. How? TIVCT's cam trickery. Late intake closing reduced millions of tiny pumping losses, shifting to an efficiency mode when cruising. Mechanical direct injection precisely controlled every ignition event, matching the energy needs, squeeze by squeeze. And the 6 speeds tall overdrive meant the engine lazily spun at 1,600 RPM right down the interstate. The Coyote wasn't just a Mustang thing. Ford dropped it into the F-150. At first, truck bros scoffed. EcoBoost made more torque, so why care? The drive told a different story. Smooth, predictable power. No turbo lag, no overheating. Ford updated truck versions for durability, forged connecting rods, larger oil coolers, lower compression for regular gas. The result? 11,300 pounds towing. Fleet managers noticed, Coyotes lasted longer, cost less to maintain, and truck sales exploded, shifting economics in Mustang's favor. By 2015, Ford was moving 400,000 truck units with Coyote engines annually. That scale drove parts development and kept the platform affordable for performance fans. Global emissions? The Coyote passed every test thrown its way. Euro 6, China 6, California's toughest. Secrets were everywhere. Chamber architecture for perfect combustion, Port and direct injection working together, cold start emissions slashed by 90%, exhaust manifolds heated catalysts in under 20 seconds, Ford put engines through the ringer, Arizona heat, Alaskan freeze, Death Valley towing, all proved the engine could handle real-world punishment. Gen 2 Coyote, launched in 2015, seemed like a minor refresh, but delivered real-world torque where early Coyotes lagged. Charge motion control valves improved low-end grunt by creating extra intake turbulence. Torque below 3,000 RPM leaped by 15%. Cylinder heads went bigger, intake runners shortened, power up to 435 horsepower, fuel economy even better. Enthusiasts cheered. Aftermarket tuners found easier paths to 500 wheel horsepower. Boosted builds soared by 20%, and the platform kept evolving smoothly without messy swaps. Not content, Ford dropped Gen 3 in 2018. Dreams of perfection materialized. Dual injection, both port and direct, gave the Coyote new personality. Port handled atomization. Direct cooled the chambers for serious timing and compression gains. Power soared to 460 horsepower, torque to 420 pound-feet. But the real prize? A plateau-flat torque curve, pulling even harder beyond 6,000 RPM. High-pressure direct injection let the engine run lean at cruise, pushing highway mileage even further. Cold starts improved, emissions dropped another 20%. New dual-throttle body intake split air precisely, and even the oil pump shrank power losses with variable displacement. Every lesson Ford learned for 7 years found its way in. Every update mattered. The swap culture grew wild. Gen Z builders stuffed Coyotes into anything with wheels. Old Fox bodies, SN95s, even classic muscle Mustangs. Takeout engines cost little. Wiring was simple. Standalone ECUs made swaps plug and play. The forums raced to document every modification, wild build, and crazy result. Ford made swap kits for headers, motor mounts, even cooling systems, and viral builds exploded on YouTube. The shriek at 7,000 RPM sealed the deal. The Coyote swap movement inspired whole genres. Ranger trucks with 400 horsepower, sleeper crown Victorias, even Miata missiles weighing just 2,200 pounds. The numbers don't lie. Mustang sales rocketed from 73,716 in 2009 to nearly double in just 2 years. By 2015, Ford was moving Mustangs like never before, building a global reputation out of what 5 years before seemed doomed. Scarcity drove up used prices, and insurance companies scrambled to react to the performance leap. But beyond sales, credibility returned. The American press ate humble pie. Journalists who mocked Ford's 4.6 now gushed over Mustang's engineering. Europe took notice, comparing Mustangs and BMWs head-to-head. The Coyote scored International Engine of the Year. Ford's marketing returned the classic GT and 5.0 badges, sponsored drift and drag events, and made the howl of the Coyote Mustang the soundtrack of every performance ad. One last moonshot, one mad risk, and American muscle lived on to write the next chapter. Rev it, build it, swap it, break records with it, just never count it out. The Coyote story is living proof that legends aren't born, they're rebuilt, one wild rev at a time. If this story revved you up, hit that subscribe button now for more insane automotive deep dives, because there's always another legend waiting under the hood. Smash like if you crave muscle car history, drop a comment with your favorite Mustang moment, and share this video with someone who dreams in horsepower.